You're about to jump center, and the lights went off. Brian Oliver. Here we go. We are underway. The visitors from Boca Raton start with the basketball. Here's Forrest up high. Works off a screen from Chilich. Now they dump it down. Niang. Deep three to begin the game. And it's short, but kept right back out to Seabree. Off the window and through. Chilich, first basket of the game.
Chilich is one of those guys that's got a good skill set. You saw Miami going to try to get the ball out of his hands. A good way to start off.
Pass down on the block. Rodney Miller surrounded, throws it up with the right hand, taps back out, extra possession, McGusty. And we've got a foul stopping play. It is on the rebound. It goes against Miami. Dusty May. There's a good look at the second year. Head man for Florida Atlantic. He's actually a disciple of Bobby Knight.
We had a chance to talk with Dusty May. He was really excited about his bunch. Said that the team that he had last year, they were trying to gain respect. This year with the players he's got coming in, they're trying to stack up a lot of wins early.
Maitre, a little bit short, one and done, rebounded by Rodney Miller. And Dusty May is in native Hoosiers from Indiana. And he went to school in Bloomington. And for 4 years, he was a student manager for Bobby Knight back in the 90s. Up and through. Cracking the seal is McGusty.
McGusty's one of those guys that Coach Larranaga said that he wanted him to be the guy that fills in from the Zach Johnson that played last year. This is a team that's going to look to try to get a lot of points from the perimeter.
Tries to squeak the pass out, and Chilich just has to keep it in play, and it does it very well. It stays with FAU. Now Forrest, guilty of the over and back. They're flirting with it. They finally do go over and back. Now the Miami Hurricanes, for the last 9 years, have been under the watchful eye of Jim Larranaga. He has 175 wins here in Miami, 645 total. That is 41st all-time in the history of Division I basketball.
We highlighted earlier about Miami and their struggles last year. Coach Larranaga is really enthused about this group that's got, especially those 3 freshmen that they got this year. Expecting a lot of big things from them.
3 balls in and out. Silovich. Already over 200 career made threes. Forrest rings the bell. 3-pointer.
It's knocked down 3 by Forrest. And again, Dusty May said that one of the things they're looking for, they've got to knock down some threes early. They want to be able to try to put some pressure on the big guys and push them out and run when they get a chance.
Forrest looking for 2 in a row. Able to get his own miss, and he throws it right back. Wardenberg comes up with a loose ball. Numbers for Miami, 3 on 2. And Wardenberg is fouled. Got the offensive rebound, and he'll go to the free throw line. All right, Brian Oliver, take a look at your 4 keys to the game.
Well, for both teams, it's interesting how they get out and get started. For Florida Atlantic, bench scoring. This is a team that last game had 48 bench points and points off of turnovers. They're an athletic group, and they're going to try to get out. But for Miami, points in the paint. And then the big thing we talked earlier is about the freshman impact. You've got Beverly, you've got Wong, and then you've got Walker that's going to come off. How are they going to impact this game in the first half?
Some scouting reports, recruiting services, had this recruiting class for Miami in the top 30 nationally. No, we told you that FAU is going to come out in waves. Cornelius Taylor, Everett Winchester check into the game.
Ingram and Winchester are the linchpins of this offense. And when we're talking with Dusty May, he said that he was going to let these guys come out and see how they were able to get their rhythm. You know, he didn't want to use load management, more minute restriction, and see how they got going. But he said he wanted to let them get a feel for the game and see how they were going.
Another rebound for Wardenberg. Likes has the 6'7" Ingram on him. Now switching back over is Cornelius Taylor. Whole bunch of different looks right now. Miller, half hook, rebounded, Wardenberg. glass so far on both ends, and we've got a tie-up. Possession arrow stays with Miami.
You see Miami trying to get Miller off. And that's another thing Coach Larry Nager mentioned, that he wanted to see if Rodney Miller could give him some low post scoring. They were going to give him some touches, see if he can score left and right. Seems like they're committed early on and giving him some early touches.
Alexander Zezovic comes into the game, replacing Shillinch. Zezovic wears number 12. Miller with the left paw, up and through.
One of the things you see with Rodney Miller, it shows that he's a little bit more agile around that basket. Last year was a redshirt year, lost 40 pounds, and did a lot of work with his strength and conditioning.
And we've got a foul. Nope, it's a travel. Before the foul, Winchester, out of control, turns it over.
DJ Vasiljevic, known for a three-point shooter, but lost a couple of LBs over the summer. Seems like that footwork is a lot faster. One of the things about Coach Larry Nager's bunch is that you got to play defense, especially on the perimeter.
FAU has already gone 9 deep. We're not even 4 minutes into the game. McGusty finds Likes in the corner. Likes. Here's Ingram. Ingram playing with that knee brace. Little dipsy-do and gets the fancy roll.
How about the finish with the left? And Ingram's one of those guys, you know, he's a big, strong guy, but he's very agile, being able to put the ball on the floor. Big matchup, and that's going to be a hard matchup for Wurdenberg throughout the game.
Ingram only played 10 games a year ago because of that knee injury. But when he did play, he was effective. Averaged over 18 points per game. Vasiljevic. Again, Wurdenberg.
Atlanta doing a really good job being able to limit Miami to only one shot. Love the defense and how they're playing. They're cutting off those penetrations and forcing them to off those three-point shots as well.
Miller knocks it out of bounds. It is Florida Atlantic basketball.
I think for this team, as far as they've got a lot of new pieces, Coach Larry Nager said he wanted him to be more of a distributor. That will probably change when you see Beverly come on, because he can play the point. But I think what you're trying to do is trying to develop this game and get some of these other guys involved early.
Miami's still playing with their starting 5. Wraparound pass, last touch by Miami. I thought that was off Zezovic, but it stays with the Owls.
Here we go.
Taylor. And a foul going for the rebound. It's over the back, called on FAU.
You touched on earlier about how FAU is rotating guys in and out. And I think that early in the first half, they've been able to put their imprint on ball movement, getting their shots. They seem like they've been under control. And then on the other end, they've limited Miami in what they've been able to do. I know Miami has tried to get the ball inside. Interesting to see when Chris Likes decide to pick it up a little bit.
That foul is on Keenan Blackshear. He just checked into the game. That means the Florida Atlantic's already gone 10 deep. 2 waves of 5 already, while Miami's still playing with their starters. Vasiljevic, one and done. Rebounded by Zezovic.
Scouting report tells you that DJ Vasiljevic, you don't want to allow him to be able to set his feet and knock that three down. FAU's done a really good job of being able to chase him off of the three-point line early in the first half.
Blackshear trying to post up Likes, and he's guilty of a travel. That happens sometimes, Brian. You got a 6'5" player trying to post up a 5'7" player, and you get too greedy.
Well, sometimes you see mouse in the house, you realize that you see Blackshear thinking he's got a mouse in the house, but understand that Chris Likes takes it personal when you try to take him down low.
And a foul in the backcourt called on Cornelius Taylor. He was trying to hound the freshman, Harlan Beverly, who just checked into the game. Beverly's running the point. He's replacing Likes, who's going to get a really quick blow, you'd imagine.
And we talked about those freshmen. Talking with Coach Larry Nager earlier, he's very high on Wong and Beverly. Talk about their skill set and the fact that they're very mature for freshmen.
And Wong's in the game as well. So the backcourt of Wong and Beverly, both 2 freshmen.
We You'll see with Beverly. Beverly's the guy that can make shots. He's got a lot of length. If you get a chance, scoring a 40-inch vertical. To see him get out in open court.
I'd love to see it. Wardenberg, high arcing jumper. First field goal to go along with 5 rebounds here early in the game for Wardenberg.
And I think Wardenberg is the wild card for this Miami team. He is a guy that with his skill set, he can stretch the defense. He's got length. He's picked up his aggression. Came on really big at the end of last year for them.
McGusty off balance. FAU now has Carrington McCaskill in the game. McCaskill wears number 5, freshman out of Detroit. He is the 11th Owl to play here in our first half. Long turns to corner. That was a big time move. 18-year-old kid.
That's one of the things that he excels is being able to turn the corner. You see, really aggressive and strong. We saw that against Louisville. These freshmen come into the game, and they're super aggressive on both ends of the floor.
When you lose your first game, I know it's against the number 5 team in the country, but did your confidence take a bit of a hit this early in the year?
Well, I think what it is that Coach Larranaga, he prides his team on defense. And if you're going to play for him, you got to be able to come in and play on the defensive end. I think if you play defense, he gives you a little bit more flexibility on the offense. And I think that if you're playing defense, you're going to get those shots to come. And you saw Wong being able to attack.
Here's the other freshman, Beverly. Hey, the freshman stepping up early. Harlan Beverly. Miami, a lead of 3, closing into the 12-minute mark of our first half. We've only lost once all time against FAU. Hurricanes lead the series history 23 wins to 1 win. Winchester along the baseline. Oh, beautiful basketball played right there. Zezovic, the floater.
Nice penetration by Winchester. See McCaskill get tripped up by that invisible line there. How about Florida Atlantic and how the pace that they've come out and how aggressive they've been? They've been able to get their shots. You see a nice drop off by Beverly, and that's one of the things that he can do, Garrett. Get into the paint, nice little drop off to Miller for the finish.
And we've got a timeout. Dusty May had a whole host of subs he wants to bring into the game. And right now, Miami, think about some of the young players that Larranaga has recruited here to the U. And Bruce Brown now doing his thing in the NBA for the Detroit Pistons. And Lonnie Walker starting to blow up in San Antonio. Young, athletic wings have been able to flourish in this system.
And one of the things that they've been able to do with those players is that their player development has been spot on. We'll talk about Chris Caputo as assistant later on, but Miami does a really good job of being able to develop their players, and that's on display today.
Chris Likes back into the game, checking in for the first time. Dang Dak for Miami. Shot clock is down to 7. Shillage. How about that? Didn't know what to do, so might as well shoot it. It's a 3.
And you know the scouting report on Shillage, you got to get out and put a hand on him. That's one of the things that Dusty May said is that he's going to shoot that 3. He's going to force the defenders from Miami to come out and challenge that shot.
And a foul will send Beverly to the free throw line.
One of the things about this Florida Atlanta group is that they do a lot of pick and pop, and you see Shillage. If you're going to give him a chance to set the feet, that's deadly from the three-point line. About Florida Atlantic being able to have this game, and we talked to Dusty May. He said that, hey, only a game like this, we're happy to be in the ballpark. He said, but the group of guys that we have, we're coming in here and we're going to be aggressive and put it on them because I've got 10 guys that I can rotate in and out that can be competitive, and it's on display right now, them being tied 14-14.
How serious are they about this game? Instead of just driving the 40 miles this morning and playing the game, they came last night so they could get a good night's sleep, so they could concentrate and play the game to the best of their abilities tonight.
Interesting to see also, we're talking to him, I said, he settled in on the lineup. You see the great penetration and finish against Shillage. He said, no, we've got guys in our first group, second group, they're about the same. And you see that he's rotating guys in and out, and they have not had any drop-offs so far.
Miami down 2 points. Pass intercepted by Forrest. That's the first turnover for Miami. Miami basketball.
You see Taylor with this penetration. Great jump off the Shillage, and this is the thing what they've been able to do is get to the basket at will. One of the things for Miami is rim protection. See nice penetration and the finish. And again, we said Florida Atlantic doing a good job of being able to change up their defenses, give Miami different looks.
Dribble handoff. Now it's Lights, top of the key. Lights. Gets it back, clean look. The most open he is all evening long. He's upset with himself.
Part of the defense Niang was able to play on Chris Lights. Normally, big guy sees a little guy and they panic, able to move his feet.
Lights with the steal at midcourt. Swoops and scores. Can't coach speed and quickness.
We always talk about Chris Lights and how he can score, but he's committed a lot more on defense. Coach Larry said that he challenged him over the summer to be a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end. Get into the passing lane, come up with that steal in the finish.
Shillage. He's now 2 for 3 from behind the arc.
And again, how about Shillage is that Miami is being caught up in that pick and roll. Instead of rolling to the basket, he's getting his feet set. And again, being able to knock down another three.
First man in double figures, 10 points for the Ole Miss transfer. Walker gets a home court roll. First basket for Anthony Walker.
Miami coaching staff is really high on Walker with his length and athleticism. He's a guy they see a lot of promise in because he's got a lot of potential.
Forrest. Shillings this time fakes the shot, takes a long two.
That was a heat check. He was feeling it. He was like, you know what, hey, I'm feeling it. I'm going to go for mine.
Sullivan. Every time you look to that scorer's table, there's always someone waiting to come in for Florida Atlantic. And a foul, Niang is grabbed.
Well, when you talk about the rotation from Florida Atlantic, when you've got 10 guys that you can rotate in, and it allows them to maintain that defensive pressure to be able to push the pace. That's one of the things that's played into their hands in this first half, because when you see each guy to come in, they're committed to get into the gap, making the extra pass, and even their defense, they're realizing that if they switch on Lights, they try to force him to the basket, they're challenging him at the rim, and even with DJ Vasiljevic, a guy that you know is a three-point threat, force him to get off that and get to the layup.
I can sign 12 autographs in 6 seconds. So reminding you to check your battery this fast, easy.
For Miami, McGusty and Wardenberg back on the floor. 1 out of 2 for Niang, sophomore. FAU up a pair. 8 minutes to play, first half. For Miami, their first non-conference game after playing an ACC game right out of the chute. Still can't wrap my brain around that. Walker. Niang got a piece of it, and Niang gets the rebound. DJ Robertson, front of the iron. Likes ahead of the pack. Numbers for Miami. And we'll have free throws for Anthony Walker. So Miami showing some speed. They're rewarded with 2 free throws for the true freshman Anthony Walker.
Well, one of the things for Miami is that they want to get back into the game. And one of the ways to do it is to get out and run. Miami down by 2. Me, I played 12 years over in Italy. Speak a little Italiano. My wife is from Italy. We were able to share some good stories. Also, we've got common thread, too. Both Chris and Coach L, Archbishop of Malloy alumni. My guy, Kenny Anderson, back in the Georgia Tech days as well.
Kenny Anderson. Wow, what a player he was. Little lefty could score on anyone. One more free throw for the youngster, Walker. He's one of that young core, the 3 freshmen, Anthony Walker, Harlan Beverly, and Isaiah Wong, that are bringing so much optimism to this program.
Well, I think one of the things that's been on display, too, is if you haven't seen it, a lot of scoring from Walker is that how they've come in, and you don't see the deer in front of the headlights for this to be their second game.
And offensive foul is going to give it right back over to Miami. We just showed you something bottom of the screen. How about this for Dusty May's team? They have 8 field goals, Brian Oliver, and they've assisted on 7 of the 8.
Well, and they've done a really good job of being able to attack the basket. I thought that they've stayed within themselves, not getting too far. They know when to run. You see a great backdoor cut. A nice pass by Wardenburg to get Chris Light off.
Backdoor cut to the smallest man in the ACC, 5'7" Chris Light.
Well, and one of the things, the finish is really good, but I like the pass by Wardenburg. Again, we talked about the fact that his skill set, and I think he's a big wild card for this Miami team and what he can do on the floor.
Sam Wardenburg from Auckland, New Zealand. Wardenburg. He was close, got even closer and scored.
Well, I thought that he should have taken that first shot, but if you're Coach Larry Nager, you like the fact that he talked about he's a guy that wants to shoot the perimeter jump shot, like that he was able to pump fake and finish at the rim. Seabree,
Long three. Offensive rebound, Taylor. Elbow jumper. First year playing Division I basketball. He played 3 years at Lincoln Memorial, which is a Division II school in Tennessee.
That last game against Flagler had 20 points. Again, Dusty May's got to be ecstatic with where his team sits right now, because even though down by 1, they've been able to dominate this game for the most part.
Wardenburg. Couple power dribbles. Fadeaway falls through gently.
If they can get that kind of production from Wardenburg throughout the season, then I'm sure Jim Larinaga would be ecstatic with that, because he's not known for being a back-to-the-basket kind of guy.
He had 2 points in 23 minutes a couple of days ago against Louisville. Last year, he averaged 5 points per game. Taylor walled off. Zezovic had it stolen away by Miller. Numbers for Miami. Now even strength. Likes hasn't found his outside shot just quite yet. Seabree. That's a long 2. Give him 2. Jalen Seabree.
But I like the patience by Seabree. He realized he had Wardenburg on him. Instead of trying to put his head down, he created that space. Again, Dusty May talked about his team and the fact that for them to be able to win this game, they've got to knock down threes outside on the perimeter. You see Seabree knocking down a nice 3.
Seabree knew it was a long 2, and he went back, and I think he apologized to his coach. They had a conversation right along the bench. Dusty May said, that's okay.
Well, Eric, we talked about with Wardenburg and the fact you see being able to dime Chris Light. He's come out early and been able to put his imprint on this game. And again, how about being able to realize he's got a smaller guy, and sometimes you say mouse in the house, being able to use that physique and get down and score. Wardenburg did a really good job this first half.
FAU down by 1. Jalen Ingram, second stint on the floor. Pull up from 18, shot went about 16.
And I think if you're Jalen Ingram, when you're coming off of an injury, you got to be able to first get that conditioning, but a part of the conditioning is being able to trust yourself. That muscle memory, being able to make those game speed type plays. And I think that's one of the things that we say with Dusty May. He's going to let him come at his own pace rather than pile a lot of minutes from him early in the season.
McDusty has it go in and out. Schillich another rebound. FAU's done a good job controlling the boards. Seabree. Vasiljevic.
DJ Vasiljevic not being able to find the range. And I think a lot of that is that he has not had a lot of clean looks from behind the arc. North Atlanta doing a really good job of being able to make those shots challenging.
Yeah, Vasiljevic made 4 of 7 from behind the arc against Louisville on Tuesday. Offensive rebound, Ingram. Shot clock resets to 20 on an offensive rebound this year. Catch and shoot. Another offensive rebound. Ingram had it blocked from behind by Miller. Final 3 minutes of our first half. How about that? Sam Wardenberg.
How about the skill set on display? Again, we talked about him being that guy that wants to shoot threes. Put the ball on the floor, being able to finish. It's been a bright spot for Jim Larranaga's team this first half.
Ingram is fouled. He's fouled by Beverly. A big story this first half has been Sam Wardenberg.
Sam Wardenberg was years ago. My man Sean Jones was the quarterback back then. Amazing. And Jeff Collins has done an awful lot for Georgia Tech. I think they're a year away because of years of having guys with that spread offense and being able to pass the ball. I think there are good things ahead for the Yellow Jackets.
Foul called on Schillens. That's number 2 on him. If we're going to go back to the late 80s and talk about Georgia Tech football, we should mention that was the same window that Virginia was pretty good as well. Sean Moore and Matt Blunden were quarterbacks, and Terry Kirby was in the backfield. And Virginia under George Welsh back in that window. They had a lot of top 10 finishes. I shouldn't say a lot, but they were good back then. First free throw is good. Front end of a 1-and-1 for Rodney Miller.
I've been impressed with Rodney Miller and what he's shown on both ends of the floor. This is a guy that didn't get a lot of playing time the year before. And then for him to come out, I think he's shown some good skill set with being able to give you a guy that you can dump the ball down to that can score. I think that he's shown some agility, being able to come out and play the pick and roll. They give you that big presence and body on the rim.
Trying to post up Darden Capiti. This is Capiti into the game for the first time. Shot clock's at 5. Ingram's going to have to create on his own. With the left hand, hit the side of the backboard, and it's a shot clock violation.
Good defensive possession by Miami. How about Sam Wardenberg being able to get in front of Ingram and force him into a contested shot?
Dusty May has used everyone on his roster. He has gone 13 deep in the first half.
Well, he said that earlier, that he's got such a competitive group, and he's going to let these guys be able to play, and he likes the fact that he's got to make a decision on who he's going to play, because he said, Brian, when we get in the conference play, I can't play all of these guys.
Look at Miller. Made a couple of free throws a moment ago. Hits a left-handed hook on the baseline.
And how many times have we seen him be able to finish with a jump hook going to his left and right? And that's one of the things Jim Larranaga said, is that he wants him to be able to be an offensive threat where he can throw the ball down the post.
Fourth year in the program for Rodney Miller, but really hadn't played much at all. Up and throw. This time it's the freshman Beverly.
How about that move and how explosive he was, being able to get to the basket. We talked about the fact that he's got some ups, and so he can get to the basket. Great finish.
Vasilovic rebounds in traffic, off and running. And a turnover. Going to lead to the layup. Richardson, Matre.
That was a great way for Florida Atlantic to stop a little bit of that run that Miami was on. I thought Miami was starting to create a little bit of separation by how they were able to pick it up and get some stops and some finishes on the other end.
Just the second turnover for Miami. Wong. Beverly back to Wong. Oh, man, he got clobbered. Just clobbered. Capiti called for the personal foul.
How about the willingness of the guards from Miami? You see Isaiah Wong get here and seem like he got tripped up along the way. But again, Eric, we've seen Wong and also Beverly being able to attack the basket And for freshmen, a lot of times, there's a lot of hesitancy and sometimes a lot of control. But every time I've seen them go to the basket, it's with purpose, being able to finish and make the pass out to someone to get an open shot.
First made free throw as a college player for Wong. He went 0 for 2 from the line against Louisville a couple of nights ago. Among other things, free throwing was a sore spot for the Miami Hurricanes on Tuesday. They were just 4 for 11 as a team at the free throw line.
And one of the things that plagued them last year is that this Miami team had 5 guys that they could play, and was in most games up until the 35th minute, and they would run out of steam. What you see right here, Jim Larranaga has a lot of extra bits and pieces. He's got at least a good 8 guys that he can depend on to give him good quality minutes.
Shot clock's on. Oh my, Capini would love that one back. Missed twice, point blank range, and that one's too late. Wave it off.
Only 4 points. Interesting to see in his first 5 minutes if they're able to get Vasiljevic involved with this game. In the first half, it was their inside guys combination between Miller and Wardenberg that was able to carry the offense for them.
Miami, they shoot 42% from the field in the first 20 minutes. It was their defense that was impressive. They held Florida Atlantic to just 31% shooting. And Florida Atlantic only attempted 2 free throws as a team.
I thought there was a little bit of drop-off at Florida Atlantic and in how they were able to execute the offense. They were able to limit Miami for most part of the first half, and Miami was able to get more of their shots and for the shots to fall. Interesting to see how they started the second half.
Offensive rebound, Niang missed it, but then the foul is called as Schillich got whacked in the head.
He's going to have to start walking down and glaring at that left hand, because I think we've seen him finish at least 4 or 5 times in the game.
Redshirt junior really hasn't played much at all in his first 3 years here on campus. Sebring walled off. Shot clock's at 6. Well, dating back to the end of the first half, FAU's gone cold. They just won for their last 17. Mike. And what do we have? We got a foul. And he'll have free throws. Maybe this will get him going.
Where you see Chris Likes being able to get by Niang and get in. It's one of the things about him that I love is that even though he's smaller than most of the other players, his ability to absorb contact and finish around the rim. We've seen him. He hasn't been his normal aggressive set, but I like the fact that he's starting to pick it up a little bit.
The Works Tri-Vac 3-in-1 Easy Switch from Blow to Vac is a game changer and a time saver. Your yard work champion.
Likes averaged 16 points per game last year. 16.2, second leading returning scorer in the ACC.
Eric, one of the things we did see earlier in talking to Jim Larranaga is that he wanted Chris Likes to be more of a distributor with this bunch, and maybe this is more of a transition role where he's trying to get him to get his other guys involved because he needs to get them involved, and knowing he's got that ability to go get a basket whenever he wants.
Second foul on Wardenberg. Should mention that Schillich for FAU has gone to the bench. He's picked up his 3rd foul. It's a real bright spot for the Owls. And a reach-in foul called on Likes, trying to stop Taylor. Schillich, 3 fouls next to his name.
One of the things he's been able to do for FAU is be able to stretch out and knock down those threes. And he's a guy that can score inside out. Interesting to see now with him on the bench. Will they still be able to get the same production on the inside?
Last touch by Niang. Florida Atlantic last year, 17 and 16, 8 and 10 in Conference USA play. It was their first winning record since 2011. They played in the postseason, collegeinsider.com tournament. They had 11 different guys trying last year that started at least 6 games.
And this was a team that did that without Seabury and also
without Ingram.
And that says an awful lot. And that's why they're so excited about this bunch and the guys that they have returning and then the new guys inside.
Would you have a hard time playing in a system like this where 13 guys consistently get funneled in and out?
So for me, no reason I say that because I'm a competitive guy. I know also Paul Hewitt, when he was at Georgia Tech, they were able to make it to the national championship game playing that same type of style.
Chris likes nice inbound play.
Interested to see if that'll get him going. There have been times when Chris Likes has been able to get a big on him, and normally you see him blow by him, opting to be able to defer. But that last time showing his ability to finish at the rim.
Taylor comes up short, rebounded again by Wardenberg. 16-2 run for Miami, dating back to the end of the first half. Likes quicker than a hiccup. It's a different Chris Likes in the second after we saw in the first.
Yeah, that's a little bit of that road runner type speed right there where you blow by. When you see him get ready to dance, that's when you talk about blowing by and finishing.
Ingram off the window. Yeah, that's the player we expected to see. Preseason All-Conference USA. Again, Likes hunting. Vasiljevic. He actually never looked at the basket. Three-pointer, first one tonight for DJ.
And I like the dynamic between those two because they've been playing for so long. You see Vasiljevic, he doesn't force the issue.
Ingram, 5 in a row.
And Ingram is one of those guys, when you look at him, when he gets to the point where conditioning-wise, he feels a little bit more secure, he's going to be really deadly for this ball club, especially when they get into conference play.
10 games he was healthy enough to play last year. 18 points, 8 rebounds. Here's a turnover. Forrest, was he out of bounds? Yes, he was. So it's Miami.
In those minutes a little bit because he's that guy that we've talked about with his skill set might be able to help FAU to get back into this game.
Ingram's played 8 minutes. We were told at max he was allowed to play 22. So he's still got a chance to affect this game, but they need something to happen in a hurry. FAU down 13. Miami, a loss on Tuesday in an ACC conference game on this floor against Louisville. Defense was the issue against the Cardinals. Vasiljevic scoots inside.
DJ, I didn't know you had that in your bag.
Wow, not just a three-point shooter anymore.
For those of you in the basketball world who don't understand the lingo, he hit him with the hizzy and then actually got to the basket and finished with the left.
Ingram made a three a moment ago. Decisive with the left hand. Good footwork.
Decisive is one of those guys that he's got that skill set where he can finish around the basket with either hand too. And again, we keep talking about this Florida Atlantic team and the fact that they've got so many guys that you've seen on display throughout the game. They can go and get a bucket for at least 5 or 6 different people.
Freshman Beverly in the game, spelling Likes. Wardenberg. Off the mark is Anthony Walker, another freshman getting some second half tick. Winchester. Good use of the body.
This lineup with Winchester and Ingram on is probably the best lineup for Dusty May's team. Interested to see how long he leads because since those two have been back on the floor, they've been able to cut this lead down.
Wardenberg. And a foul on FAU.
Where one of the things we know about DJ Vasiljevic is this three-point. You see right now, he get him with the hizzy, then the finish with the left. That looked like a little something you see. He gets him up, then gets him down, and then how about get in, finish with the left. Look like some of the days you back at the Y.
That'll be the day. I love that hang time. Had the defender in his face, had to hang a little bit, angle. Wardenberg. 14 minutes remaining. Winchester got fouled on his foray to the hoop, and he'll have free throws for the first time. And Wardenberg all of a sudden in foul trouble. That's number 3 on the junior from New Zealand.
Last year, this would have been a big issue for Miami because they had such a short bench. This year, when you can rotate Walker in the mix, eventually Gack in there, and you bring in Rodney Miller. This is something that Jim Larinaga will be able to work with. It's not such a big issue as it was last year.
So Wardenberg leaves. He's replaced by Rodney Miller. And one more free throw coming for Winchester. Junior from Baltimore, Maryland. 1 out of 2 for Everett Winchester. Vasiljevic, Beverly, Walker, Miller, and Wong. The 5 on the floor for Miami. 3 freshmen. And a beautiful pass. How about that?
How about the
Beverly setting up Miller?
How about the breakdown by Beverly under control, crosses man over, and then the dump off it. This is one of the things, again, about Beverly and his ability to be able to read the defense, not over-penetrate, and be able to dish it off at the right place.
Winchester, walled off. Running out of room over there was Taylor. Vasiljevic screaming for the ball. Beverly sets up Vasiljevic and a foul before the pass. It's called on Cezovic.
Well, you see with Beverly, one of the things you see, he absorbs that, and he realizes he's got a big on him, goes away, blows by, and then gets it over to Rodney Miller. And that's one of the things you talk about, the maturity. You see, realize he's got a big, get by him in the finish, and the dump off to Rodney Miller. And that's one of the things that Jim Larinaga was talking about with Wong and Beverly and the maturity that they've shown so much early in the season.
Vasiljevic draws a crowd. They started by Niang. And Niang got handsy. Foul called on Majal Niang. And it's still out of bounds underneath the basket. Second foul on Niang.
Did Vasiljevic just nutmeg Yang? Seemed like he had him on there and he was bound to get by him and just threw it right between his legs. Come on.
Starts with Wong. Blocked away, Niang. Taylor wants to run. Cornelius Taylor, three-pointer.
It seems that when Miami extends the lead, and it seems like they're going to put a nail in the coffin, Florida, Atlanta comes back and makes a good stop and then a good basket.
Beverly. And it's still Miami ball.
You see in transition, how about Taylor realizing that gets a little bit of a distance and then knocks that down. Florida Atlantic still in this game, still being able to get stops on one end and finish on the other.
Brian Oliver, you've been talking all game long about Miami and what they do with player development. I've seen so many guys from Miami today just look so ambidextrous with the confidence in either hand shooting the basketball.
And we're talking about the second game of the season right now, and especially with these freshmen, as you see Walker get to the basket. And that's one of the things that they do a really good job here is develop their players. And when you look at this freshman core and what they have, how about Rodney Miller? This is a guy that 2 years ago,
I can't tell if he's right-handed or left-handed.
Didn't play a lot. Yeah. And then he lost 40 pounds, and you see second game of the season. And what they're doing is encouraging if you're Jim Larinaga and what their guys are being able to do.
2 free throws coming for Anthony Walker. This guy didn't even play basketball as a freshman in high school. He's now playing high Division I as a true freshman.
Well, if you look at him, he's a high-energy guy. He's got length. You look at the wingspan.
And then of a condor.
And what they say is that his second jump is much better than the first. And so he's a guy that you look at as the season gets along, he's going to develop and he's going to be an integral piece in that rotation.
Taylor gets his own miss.
Taylor. This is a feisty group, Dusty May. And it seems like they are not going away.
All of a sudden, Florida Atlantic within 7. They've weathered the storm, quite possibly. From Boca Raton going on a run. Florida Atlantic within 7 of Miami. And how about the grad transfer Cornelius Taylor?
And he's shown time and time again that he is a shot maker. He's come out and knocked down big threes, been able to knock down some big shots for FAU. Most recently being able to cut into that lead down to 7. And how about his ability, Dusty May talked about this is a guy that has no fear, had 20 points in the last game against Flagler. He's come in and ignited this run, allowed Florida Atlanta to get back into this game.
I think you almost called him Scott May.
I did.
And I think you probably wouldn't mind that. Dusty May is actually from Bloomington, Indiana, where Scott May was an All-American on the last undefeated team, Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers.
You know what, man? I love the fact that you got your boy even on my mix-ups. I appreciate that.
And Miami, can they weather the storm? FAU has gone on a 13-5 run over the last 4 minutes and change.
Well, one of the impressive things about their run, though, is it's not that Miami has been playing bad. It's just the fact that they've been able to switch up their defense, limit them to one shot, and they've been knocking down shots. And one of the things that Dusty May did say is that, hey, Brian, we got to knock down threes.
This is the first time we've seen Chris Likes play with the 2 freshmen in backcourt, Beverly and Long. Beverly, Miller, 3 to shoot. Loose, turnover. Never got anything up on the rim.
Good defensive possession by Florida Atlantic.
Taylor, Zezovic. Pass through, Ning! Here come the Owls.
Florida Atlantic is super aggressive, attacking the rim, forcing Miami to make the rotations. You got 2 bigs that are going to the offensive boards. Miami do a better job. Defensive rebound.
Beverly. Didn't look like he was that interested in taking that shot. Long block from behind. This time it's Seabury who got it. Taylor. Offensive rebound. Ning with the left hand. How did Seabury find him?
Offensive rebounding by Florida Atlantic. This is a group that's super athletic. Again, we talked earlier in the first half that they are very, very aggressive on both ends of the floor, showing off as of late.
1 possession lead for Miami. Likes trying to get his. That's what upperclassmen do.
And this is where you want your best player to step up. We talked about Chris Likes being a little quiet, distributing the ball. When you get it to the lead, when it's starting to get down, you want your best player to have the ball in his hand.
Halfway through our second half. Florida Atlantic has only won once all time against Miami. They don't get a shot up. Beverly. Beverly. Beautiful drive along the baseline.
How composed has he been? I mean, for a freshman, you see the time that he's gotten to the basket. Again, we talked about how athletic he is, but his ability to finish around the rim, astonishing.
Taylor. Oh, so sneaky. Got it up and through.
Cornelius Taylor is going for his. Knockdown threes, being able to get to the basket.
He was playing Division II basketball last year. It was a rail splitter playing at Lincoln Memorial. 9 minutes remaining. Offense slowed down for Miami. Tough chance. 1 and done for Likes.
That's an opportunity I would like him to break his man down and get to the basket. To put the pressure on the defense.
Skip pass. Taylor. Seabury. Blocked away. Leads to the run out. Beverly. Arlen Beverly.
Great defensive play by Miami. Defense leading offense.
Florida Atlantic, they want a timeout. This had been a 3-point game not that long ago, but Harlan Beverly and the Miami Hurricanes going on a run. They now lead by 7.
You see the big block on one end and being able to hustle down. And how about the fight and extra dump to be able to get that lead down? But then Miami comes back, and you see one freshman with a big block and get it out to Beverly, and that super athleticism we talked about on display. We've got a game that's going back and forth. Interested to see how it goes back down to the wire.
Sam Wardenberg checks in after a long break for Miami. Wardenberg playing with 3 personal fouls. Something to keep an eye on. Jalen Ingram back in for FAU. Ingram coming back from a knee injury. He's got the ball in the wing. Winchester to spin. Can't pay it off. Ingram runs down the loose ball. Winchester. Rebounded by Wardenberg.
Good rebound by Wardenberg.
Miami a moment ago only up by 3. Now leading by 7. Trying to win their first game of the year. McGusty got all the way to the rim.
And that's one of the things that Cam McGusty does for this team is his ability to be able to get to the basket and finish. Again, I likened him to Zach Johnson from last year. Jim Larinaga said they're going to look for him to be that third scorer for them.
Ball is kicked out of bounds. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 7:14 remaining in our second half. Followed by Detroit and Mercy. The Titans taking on NC State at 4. Check your local listings. Both Youngstown State and Detroit Mercy coming out of the vaunted Horizon League.
Hey, I want to go back to when we came back. Was that T-Pain with the turnover chain sitting in the crowd?
I think it was. You got a good eye. You got a good eye, Brian Oliver. All right, Florida Atlantic. Can they get back into it? Now down by 9. Chilich on the floor. Hadn't seen him in a while. He's been effective. Uh-oh. That's a body blow. He went right after Miller, and he got called for it.
Yeah, he went above the shoulder trying to clear out. And I really thought that he could have still backed Miller down. You see him back him down, and he goes above the shoulder.
Oh, my goodness.
To clear out.
How was he surprised to get whistled for the foul?
And you see right there, second one. And that clearing, you do that anytime. That calls him to sit right back on the bench.
Yeah, back to the bench with 4 fouls. McGusty. Jalen Ingram still on the floor. Getting the lion's share of his minutes here in the second half. Pass in tight quarters, picked off. Beverly got it. McGusty missed there a moment ago. This time buries it. On the line, it's a long 2.
But how about Harlan Beverly? You saw him come up with the steal, go down. That's a freshman in his second college game.
Another run out, McGusty. Great job by Force. Didn't give up on the play. Knocks it away at the last moment.
That's what it is. Well, again, you see Beverly come down. And how about the presence of mind to draw, get it over the McGusty for the knockdown 3. And again, we talked about these freshmen and how they've been so impressive tonight.
Would have been a 3 last year. This year he was on the line.
I'm sorry, I think correctly. It's the orange line.
The orange line.
Not the green.
No. You think it's going to make much of a difference?
Well, I think that it will. I think that you have to be able to get used to it. And I think that eventually guys will pay attention to the right line and not the wrong one.
McGusty.
I was so hoping he was going to make that so I could sit in.
When he steps on the line, he makes it. When he's behind the line, he misses. Forrest. It's a screen from Zezovic. Now Taylor has been a factor here in the second half. Yeah. How about Wardenberg? Now double figures in rebounding. That's his 10th carry.
And that's one of the things that they need from him is his ability to be able to rebound. Again, we talked earlier about Wardenberg being a guy that doesn't play with his back to the basket, is a spot-up shooter, but being able to get double-digit rebounds from him is a big night for him.
Vasiljevic back into the game. Senior from Australia, actually born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
I know at the beginning of the game we came in highlighting Chris Light, But to be honest with you, I've been super impressed with Harlan Beverly and just his ability. He knocks down that three on cue, right? Just on both ends of the floor. Defensive presence. He's played and shown a level of maturity that seems far beyond his years.
When that body fills out, he's going to be a whale of an ACC player, you'd imagine. Oh, Beverly knocks it away. Another steal. Miami. Vasiljevic. Oh, a huge shot in the lead is now 17.
I am off to a 12-0 run. Dusty May wants to be able to get his troops together.
Wasn't that long ago, this was a 3-point game. But a 12-0 run, and all of a sudden Miami has their largest stiff arm of the night. 67-50 is our score.
Well, I think, Eric, one of the ways that Miami's been able to get back is by their defense. And you see Beverly being able to get his hands in there. And how about Chris Likes being able to get into the teeth of it, understanding that he's got his boy, DJ Vasiljevic, over there who can give him a little bit of love. These two guys have been playing long enough, and when you have that kind of chemistry, you always know where the players are. That last time, Vasiljevic running to the three, knocking it down.
All right, Brian Oliver, toughest question of the night. You've been associated with the ACC since your playing days at Georgia Tech in the 80s. Chris Likes, does he remind you of anyone who's come through the conference over the years?
So here's what I'm going to tell you. He's a more athletic, better shooting Muggsy Bogues.
Okay.
The reason why I say that, because for those that remember Muggsy Bogues,
5'3".
Muggsy was a small guy, played a lot bigger than his size, could get to the lane at will. And when I say Chris is a lot more athletic, shoots the ball a lot better. But if you remember Muggsy, he did a really good job of being able to get into the teeth of the defense and did a good job. Can't remember, you're up in Charlotte. How many years, I'm going to ask you, how many years did he play in the league?
That's a great question. At least 9. He long NBA career in Washington, Toronto, and the lion's share of his time in Charlotte with the Hornets. Yeah, Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, what a comp that is. All right, Florida Atlantic hanging on by their fingertips. This would be nice. In and out for Schilling. They get it back, though. Seabree. And Niang is fouled by Wardenberg.
Miami is going on that 12-0 run, but how about Florida Atlantic and then that fight that they still have? Dusty May, you got to be encouraged about the fight that they showed tonight. Again, we still got a little under 5 minutes left to go, and the bottom could fall out for Miami, but up until now, Florida Atlantic they've shown a lot of resolve. Picked to finish 9th in Conference USA. I know Western Kentucky's right up in there, and the Texas schools, but this is a team that looks like they're going to finish better than 9th.
I can't imagine it would be easy to game plan and prepare for a team that consistently goes 13 deep.
And you imagine the energy, and they've got guys that can play on the inside, the outside. They defend very well on the perimeter. They do a really good job of being able to rebound. And they've got guys, they can go get a bucket at any time. There are like 4 or 5 guys out here that you can give the ball to and say, get me a bucket in crunch time.
I mentioned that Dusty May is a disciple of Bobby Knight. I asked him if there's any similarities between what we see in terms of sets or motion, offense or defense from his team, from what Bobby Knight employed. He said, no, probably not. But I want to play with a certain toughness that Bobby Knight, Indiana Hoosier teams did.
And that's been on display from the beginning up until now.
Beverly swooping. I like this kid.
Are you kidding me? Really? And he's so smooth. Can you be smooth and explosive at the same time? Because
Harlan Beverly can.
And he's been getting to the basket and just being able to finish around either hand.
Seabree got fouled. Jalen Seabree will have 2 free throws. Seabree, like Jalen Ingram, coming back from a significant injury.
So again, we talked about Harlan Beverly, and look how he takes his time, and with that wingspan and that 40-inch vertical, being able to finish.
Toyota, let's go places. He went from A to B in a hurry.
And one of the keys that I had from Miami was points in the paint and in the freshman contribution. A lot of that has been Harlan Beverly and his ability impact that he's had as Chris Lice goes and can't finish.
Last touched by Maitre. So 26 seconds to shoot for Miami. We've gone underneath the 4-minute mark. Miami Hurricanes trying to win their first game of the year. They've got a nice working margin in the second half, but they have since gone on a nice run against Florida Atlantic.
Well, and a lot of that has been on the defensive end, getting stops, and again, their ability to be able to get to the basket. One of the keys for Miami was points in the paint, and they were able to get 40 points so far, and a lot of that was being able to get to the basket and finish it by their guards and being able to dump off to their bigs.
Miller dribbled it out of bounds. Relatively rare turnover for Miami. It's just their 5th turnover. It's a small number this early in the season.
Well, one of the things that I think too, Eric, is that their bigs have done a really good job of being able to make passes. We've seen a couple of passes by Sam Waterberg. I thought Rodney Miller, when he gets the ball in the post, has done a really good job of being able to identify when to attack, when to pass out. Florida Atlantic ran some zone, and they did some really good job of being able to post out of the high post as well.
Sam Wardenberg back on the floor for Miami. He is 1 point away from his first career double-double. 9 points and 10 rebounds. He is playing with 4 fouls. Niang likes the rebound. And for the first time all game, Chris Likes not in a hurry. To play. Shot clock down to 4. Beverly, the spin, blocked by Niang. 4-on-1. McCaskill, Carrington McCaskill. Again, Miami in no hurry at all. Goodness. This Likes kid is fun to watch.
And you see with the explosion, and it's almost like he lulls you to sleep, and his bursts are hard to deal with.
McGusty. Awkward late, but it falls.
How about the guards for Miami? They are fun to watch. When you take away Likes and you take away Vasilovich, McGusty, Wong, and then you look at Beverly, and just how they can finish at the basket, how long they are on defense.
Blackshear picks up the loose ball and rattles it through. And we'll see about this Miami team this year. Not a ton of expectations heading into the season after last year missing out on postseason play, finishing at 14 and 18 overall. But there's something to like here. There's some young talent that, depending on how quickly they come together, it makes noise.
Well, this team, there's a lot more parity in the ACC this year compared to last year. And this is a team that, when it was really deep, and you see Chris Likes knock down that 3, won 5 games. This team right now and this year is more than a 5-win team. I'll go on record and tell you that.
Okay. Remember, there's a couple extra games added to the ACC slate this year. A 20-game ACC schedule, which, oh, by the way, no one asked me, but I love. I love.
Well, and it's been, so far, it's been with a mixed bag. We talked to Coach Larinaga earlier, and I think that he had his issues with it. And my take is this. If you've got a veteran ball club and you're normally playing a more aggressive schedule, that first ACC game is not that big of a deal. But if you're a team that's trying to work out your chemistry and you're trying to get some pieces, that's a hard one to deal with because, again, now you're taking an early L, and that's something for teams that are trying to stockpile wins. When you start talking about the selection committee and how they look at these, I can understand why you have some coaches that are for it, some against. Virginia playing against Syracuse, we heard Boeheim and how he was so much against it.
Well, Boeheim would be upset if you handed him a gold brick. He'd say it's too heavy. He's never had one positive thing to say, I think, in the last 35 years. So we take everything that comes out of his mouth with a grain of salt. Final minute of the game. Miami was definitely tested, no doubt about it. Hats off to Florida Atlantic. They were one possession down at one point here in the second half.
I think if you're Dusty May, there are a lot of positives that you take away from this game.
Shot clock violation. Next up for Florida Atlantic, another tough test. They got to go to Tuscaloosa. They're going to play an SEC team, the Alabama Crimson Tide. That'll be on Monday. For the Miami Hurricanes, next time they'll be in the short pants will be on Tuesday. They're going to be up in Orlando taking on UCF. I commend Miami for playing as many in-state teams as possible in non-conference play. Another thing I believe in that no one asked me about.
Well, and again, if you look at Miami and their schedule, I think that on a night where you had Chris Slice with 15 points, DJ Vasilovich 8, a lot of positive things from the other parts and pieces.
All right, there it is. Miami, their first win of the season after losing against the Louisville Cardinals right out of the chute. Miami picks up a win against a very game Florida Atlantic Owls bunch that's going to win a lot in Conference USA. Mark my words. Final score 74-60. We're not going anywhere, Brian, but your final all-encompassing thought about what we saw.
Well, I think for Miami, what you saw is that big production from their freshman core. I saw a lot of production on the inside. Warrenberg and Miller did really well. I think for Florida Atlantic, they're showing that they can run a lot of bodies at you, got a lot of energy and a lot of scoring.
We'll take a quick timeout. We come back. We will hear from head coach Jim Larinaga and others. Miami Hurricanes happy right now.